Hello and welcome to the Year We Started a Podcast. It's a podcast born phoenix-like from the ashes of last year's podcast. I am your co-host, Jeff.
I'm the other guy, Nick.
And this is our podcast. We're a couple of friends or another guy or whatever you just said that are half a continent apart. Shut up, Nick. That want to come together and talk about some of the things that are fun and interesting to us. Nick, I had one of the worst jabs from my daughter that I've ever received. So I'm an emotional guy. I'm an emotional dad. And when I see my little daughter singing on the couch before we record this podcast, the theme song to Moana, which, you know what? I feel like Lin-Manuel Miranda has to be like our mascot for this podcast at this point.
We've like overindulged in content, right?
Like I think at some point we have to start paying royalties. I'm not sure what the point.
Oh no,
that we passed that threshold.
Oh no.
But Nick, are you aware that Lin-Manuel Miranda, like, he composes or writes or whatever the heck many of the songs in Moana and sings some of them with The Rock? Anyway, so she's sitting over there on the couch. She can like not super speak like complete sentences or anything. I was sitting down there and she was singing super cute. And I'm like, oh man, I just want to snuggle her up before she goes to bed. And I like, Alice, do you want to come snuggle? And she said, no, I'm good. In like the most like mature little daughter way ever. I'm just like,
I was expecting a physical jab. I was like, yeah, dude, kids, they're wicked mean. They're wicked ready to hit you as hard as they can.
Oh, they are, but just emotional. On an emotional level. Oh man, it's not really an actual main topic, but I thought it was just funny because like like she didn't mean anything bad by it, but she just wanted to sit in her own spot and sing her little Moana songs, and she's super adorable, but did not want to snuggle with dad, which is okay. You know what? She's her own independent woman.
Yeah. So my nephew is like this exact same age, and he, man, I can't remember what it was. I think I was, me and Jen were over at my sister's house while she was working, and he gets really excited when my sister lets the dog out of her office because like the dog hangs out with her in the office, and she comes out, and so like I think that he was associating us leaving with like her coming out. So my nephew literally stood up and started pushing me and Jen in the back of the legs and said, bye, TT, which is his word for auntie. That's for amazing. Jen. He's like, bye, TT, bye, like over and over again, pushing us, like trying to get rid of us, dude.
Oh, little kids, you're hilarious.
You're jerks. They're rude. They don't care. They don't even care.
But yeah, I mean, she could have said no or anything like that, but just like the like super casual, colloquial use of like, no, I'm good. When she can't even say full sentences, but like oh my gosh.
I like the translation to that because she's like too young to get it, but like that's very much like that's like what your wife says when she's like, no, I'm good.
No, I'm
like,
good.
You know what I mean? That's.
Okay. So we're recording this a bit early. Nick, would you like to explain why we're recording a little bit early? Although we've done a pretty poor job actually executing on this.
Yeah, I know. We're like half an hour early at this point, but it doesn't matter because the freaking NBA Finals are on.
NBA Finals are on.
Starting like right now.
We would both like to watch them soon.
Yeah.
Although at this point, definitely going to be fast-forwarding through commercials and such.
Correct, yeah.
So, Nick, I thought for our intro topic, aside from talking about how my daughter likes to rip my heart and throw it on the ground, stomp on it with her little 3-word sentences.
Classic.
I thought, Nick, we would talk about a couple NBA things, few of them maybe.
Okay.
What I have, Nick, are you familiar with what Two Truths and a Lie is? It's not very hard to figure out.
Yeah.
What it is.
I know Two Truths and a Lie, yeah.
If you're not familiar, so I have some NBA facts. Nick, for the people that don't listen to our Patreon podcast, recently we've been talking a lot about the NBA because the NBA playoffs and now the NBA finals are going on. Yeah. Nick cares about the NBA a little bit and seems to, at least from my experience, knows a little bit. So I have some pretty obscure facts that I've changed one of them slightly to be not true. Okay. And I want to see if Nick can pick out which ones are the not true ones.
I'm psyched.
And I tried not to be too like because there's some of them where I could just change like a point away or well, I'm going to give a little bit too much if I keep talking about this. Fair. Anyways, Nick, I'll tell you what. I'm not going to give any more exposition on this. I'm just going to dive into it. Okay. So I have 3 here that I want to go through. The first one is
and these are two truths and a lie, right?
Two truths and a lie.
I'm finding a lie. Okay.
I want you to tell me which one is the not true, obscure NBA fact, okay?
Do it. Let's do it.
So, Eddie Robinson recorded exactly 969 points and 382 rebounds, each with the Hornets and the Bulls, which are the two teams that he played for. Giannis's first NBA basket was a three-pointer, and LeBron and KD were born in the same hospital.
LeBron and KD were born in the same hospital as the false one, right?
It is. You're right. You are correct. There is like an element of interesting fact there. Do you know who it was?
It's LeBron and Steph.
What?
LeBron.
How do you know that? How do you know? Oh my god!
Because it's like the thing. It's like that was when they were playing each other over and over again. It came up a couple of times.
Oh my gosh! Whatever. This is okay.
Okay, I did know that Eddie Robinson played for both teams, but I was like, really? He had the exact same.
I know,
points?
right?
I didn't know that.
Exactly the same number of points, exactly the same number of rebounds.
That's wild. I didn't know that about Giannis, but like, so that stat or that one's hard because I didn't know that, but I think that's more likely than people would think at first blush, because you think like, oh, well, he only just started trying to take threes and he's not very good at threes and stuff. But like, you still might have a desperation end of shot clock shot, right? Yeah. Especially if you're a guy who's not looking for shots early on in your career. So yeah.
All right. So you are you're 1 for 1.
Oh man, are we doing multiple rounds? I love it.
Oh yeah. We're doing more rounds. Okay. Manute Bol blocked just under 10% of all 2-point shots attempted while he was on the floor.
Okay.
Tony Parker has more playoff points than Wilt Chamberlain or Larry Bird or Magic Johnson.
Okay.
Lance Stevenson has a brother named Lance with a Z Stevenson.
It's that one. That's the lie. Lance doesn't have a brother named Lance or anything, does he?
Yeah, he definitely does.
He does?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Lance Stevenson has a brother named Lance with a Z Stevenson. LANTZ Stevenson.
Oh, man. Lance.
All right. So
okay, hold on.
That one crossed off. So Bull blocked just under 10% of his all 2-pointers that were attempted while he was on the floor.
That's absurd.
Or Tony Parker has more playoff points than Wilt Chamberlain, Larry Bird, Magic Johnson.
Okay, so like I think it's the Manute Bol one. I think it's like 5%.
No, in fact, it's more than 10%. He had 10.2% of all 2-point shots.
God,
he blocked.
So I knew that his block rate was like absurd, but that number is really high. That's a really, really absurd number.
It's really high. It's absurd.
Also, the Tony Parker one is like, I'm not anything, but like I feel really bad because I was getting a 50-50 on this and I still messed it up somehow. I messed it up twice somehow, even with a 50-50, because Tony Parker having more points than that makes sense because Tony Parker was in so many damn playoffs.
I mean, stupid Spurs. Yeah.
Yeah, and the NBA switched to longer series throughout the years, like progressively. So
that's right. Yeah. No, that totally makes sense. Yeah,
they used to do three game first round series. I don't think that Wilt had 3 playoff rounds. I think that Wilt had 3 playoff rounds, not 4 playoff rounds. It's a whole thing.
This is the Jordan one. These are 3 Jordan facts, except for one of them is a little bit of a lie. You might
not know this, but I'm a little Jordan obsessed. Go ahead.
Me too. It's okay. In his career with the Bulls, Jordan only scored in single digits 1 time. After Jordan won his first ring, he never lost 3 straight games in a season. MJ played all but 1 game during his last 3-peat seasons with the Bulls.
Oh my God. Okay. Give me these specifically again. So it's,
okay, here we go. So
as a Bull, only 1 game under 10.
Only one game in single digits for the Bulls. After his first ring, he never lost 3 games in a row again. And in the final 3-peat series or the final 3-peat season, he played in every single game except for 1, including the playoffs.
Hit his final 3-peat seasons, all 3 seasons.
Yeah, so he So
crap.
Again, one more time here, Nick. While you think
so, I think that one's true. I've got all 3. I think that the last one's true. I'm debating between the first 2 because the 10-point thing. I thought that he because he played so limited minutes in his was it a sophomore season that he came back from the foot injury?
Yes.
He played such limited minutes in that year that like I would assume that he would be under, even though he's one of those guys that like just was like a metronome in terms of like just you could rely on him to have X amount of points. Crap. And then the other one, so I'm pretty sure it is that I think he did lose 3 straight games after his first ring. I think I think that they lost 3 straight games in the 98 season when Pippen was feuding with the front office and sitting. That's my final answer. Is the 3 straight games loss?
Okay.
I think he did lose 3 straight games at least once after the first ring, but I think it only happened in 98.
According to the thing I read, he did never lose 3 straight games after he won his first ring.
Jeez, really?
And he did only score single digits one time in his career. As a bull.
Are you serious?
And it was, Nick, when he was recovering from his broken foot. He only played 16 minutes.
Yeah, he was playing like insanely limited minutes. That's actually hilarious. Okay, hold on. I have to fact check this, at least with 98. I have to just check 98. I could have sworn.
Okay.
Because I thought that they had a kind of down season in 96 or 90. All right, so 98 they were fine. Let me check 97 because I think it was 97 that their record was insane in 90. That's insane, Jeff. That's insane. Jeff, do you know birds eat frickin' rocks? They eat stones. Did you know this?
No, but I do feel like I see them do that. I don't know. I don't know what I thought exactly, but like, they definitely do peck the rocks.
They pick it gravel. Particularly gravel. Like you get gravel for bird cages and stuff so that they can freaking have
pause. So we talked about Moana at the start. One of the intro scenes to Moana is this chicken that eats a rock, and then this like old sage guy's like, sometimes we just need to eat them or something like that. and she says that everybody's kind of special in their own way or something to that effect.
Very special.
I feel like that's an interesting tie-in here.
It's good.
So Nick, why does the chicken in Moana eat the rock?
So what? I just want to say,
and
that,
specifically not the Rock, Dwayne Johnson.
I just want to say this is
Nick. That was a good pun.
That was a really good pun.
We can just gloss over it. You only get one of those every few weeks. Come on.
I'm sorry. That was really good. Although that'd be a really interesting twist if the little chicken just ate the war god or
Dwayne the Rock
Johnson. Yeah, he's a god in that freaking movie, man. Like he's somehow buffer in that cartoon than he is in real life, which is saying something. Anyways, more importantly, okay. So one, every bird owner out there will already know this, but I love that like evolution is so funny because we were talking about birds like in an earlier episode and like how they can fly. Some of them can fly while partially asleep.
Half of their brains is asleep. It's crazy.
Yeah, and like their sense of direction and location based off of like freaking we assume magnetic poles. Mm-hmm. The evolution of birds is phenomenally, amazingly like interesting in terms of like how impressive it is, and also they're so stupid. They're the stupidest things that are out, and like they're so dumb. You're like, oh well, turkeys they'll just drown if it rains because they'll look up. And it's like, okay, great.
Well, I told the story about the baby turkeys that we had with my parents with the baby chickens. The turkeys can't swim, and so they just all okay.
Poor turkeys.
Poor turkeys.
Birds eat rocks to chew their food, to break down their food. They like have a part of their body that's like it's called the gizzard, which everyone's heard of. The gizzard that is like dedicated to like having a stone inside of it or several stones inside of it that like while the bird is moving around, the gizzard is like there's stuff in the gizzard that like is getting munched up by the and worn down by the stones. And then when the freaking like acids and the other things that are grinding on the stone have made the stone go like lose their sharpness, the bird will just vomit out the stones and start looking for another one. Like this is just a normal
so they just like it's like rinse a rock to like grind up food. Why? Oh, that is why I
completely agree. By the way, it's so dumb. The stones are called gastroliths. They're like stomach stones, and apparently birds aren't the only ones that do this. Apparently, some reptiles and even some mammals do, but like for other reasons, which I didn't follow up on because I was just like, this is dumb. This is bad evolution. Evolution to let birds down.
That is wild. Like I'm just trying to think about like, because like. They have so many things that they just throw up. Like that's how they feed their young and apparently grind up the stuff also. How did they not teach us this in school? That's even weirder than the throw up thing. Because, like, you feel like, okay, you eat all the food and you digest it or to a point that it can be digested by young, and then you gross it up into your babies. Ugh, that's terrible. But, like, how it got there in the first place.
Like, dude, this is what I don't understand. Nothing ever evolved. There was never a mutation that, like, gave them anything approximating teeth. But they, like, developed a freaking organ that, like, where they can hold on to a freaking stone and, like, just grind it up gradually. It's so weird. Like, 'cause that's the purpose. Is it, like, it's replacing, it's essentially replacing teeth, right?
Oh, man.
How is that the thing that, like, helps the thing survive longer? How is that the mutation that happens as opposed to just developing teeth? Or
it's like if, like, when you got old as a human and, like, you know, you maybe have a hard time chewing things up or whatever, and so you have to blend some food, but instead of blending food, you freaking went out in your driveway and gathered some gravel and then just slushed it around with the apple or something to make some applesauce. Oh my gosh, that's so weird.
And then they throw it up.
Oh, and then they throw it up for their young.
They're gross.
They're
gross. Birds is dumb. Birds is real smart, but birds is also dumb.
Okay, Nick, you know how you and me, we live in Kansas and California, respectively.
Yep.
And we do a podcast together. You know, we have lots of Kansas and California specific things we do. Well, Nick, there's another group of people that do Kansas and California specific things. I guess if you have to be super accurate, technically it's Missouri and California. But the Chiefs and the 49ers have had an interesting connection at the quarterback position over the years. Are you aware that this is a thing that has existed?
Nope.
Okay, I want to start though with something and somebody that you've probably heard of before. Do you know who Joe Montana is?
Yeah, I do. That's a really funny question for you to ask.
Okay, why? Why is that funny, Nicholas?
His son went to the high school on the other side of town. He was like on the high school football team that was like my school's like rival team.
Okay, well that's cooler than everything I'm going to talk about. That's great.
No, it's not. I never met the guy. I don't know the guy. I just I was like I didn't know how to make that funny. I was trying to make it funny, like yeah, and then I was like, wait, I haven't told you that. I guess I don't know. So yeah.
Well, that's pretty wild. So he might be a Chiefs quarterback at some point, and I'll let you know why. So,
oh shoot,
yeah. So this. Well, okay, go ahead.
Hold on, he might be. Is he currently a player?
I highly doubt it, but maybe. But it was mostly a joke that honestly probably only makes sense to me at this point, but it'll make sense to you later.
Okay.
The best kind of jokes that people will not get until 5 minutes later in the podcast. Perfect. Do you know? Okay, you know what? Apparently, since you know so many Joe Montana things, do you know who Joe Montana's backup was, who took over for the 49ers in 1993 or whatever? It's Steve Young. I feel bad for you. I don't want to leave you.
Wait! You said that so fast, but I know who Steve Young is. Steve Young was the other guy that was that had the really great connection with Jerry Rice, and they won several.
Yep.
Yeah.
We trade. Hey. Oh, go ahead.
Let me real quick.
Did Steve Young kid play quarterback for the rival team in your high school? Also,
I mixed this up. He didn't play for the other school in town. He played for like the school that like all the really good athletes in the area went to, and the really good high school that was nearby. That also played our team a bunch, but like because they were like freaking a 5-minute drive or a 10-minute drive instead of like a 2-minute drive kind of thing. You know what I mean? I mixed it up. I Googled that. I was like, yeah, isn't his son something? I was like, yeah, I'm not. He wasn't that. I probably didn't see him play that many times. Is my point. There you go.
Okay. Well, I don't even know that you said that you even saw him play. So that's like super relevant.
He played our high school football team. He's literally my age. He's like, yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. Anyways, Nick, this is not about Steve Young or Joe Montana. This is about Steve Bono. Do you know who Steve Bono is? If you say yes, I will say that you're a liar.
Well, I know who Bono is. I don't know Bono's first name. I don't care about Bono.
What's Bono, the one that you know, probably, at least to my knowledge, did not play for the San Francisco 49ers at any point.
Okay. I believe that. I'm willing to believe me. I'm willing to believe you on this subject. You're the football expert. If you tell me that Bono, the Irish guy, the Irish musician.
We are so distracted. Okay, we need to stick to the plot here. So,
go ahead.
Steve Bono, that is who this topic is about. Steve Bono was the backup to Steve Young, who was the backup to Joe Montana in 1992 for the San Francisco 49ers. We traded for, we being the Chiefs, who I said was the Kansas team, but yes, technically they are a few miles into Missouri, but I think that's bullcrap. Anyways, we traded for Joe Montana in 1993. Shortly thereafter, we also signed or traded for, I can't remember which, what's his face, the guy we're talking about, Steve Bono, who was previously, for a very brief moment, the backup to Steve Young.
Okay.
Then the 49ers, they needed a new backup quarterback, and they signed Elvis Gerbach. Nick, we've had Elvis Gerbach on this podcast.
Was he one of the most attractive?
Yes, 1998's people's sexiest person or sexiest athlete. Google the podcast by that name if you want to go listen to that. It is a hilarious story.
I felt really bad after the fact that we had not ripped on that I had joked around about ripping on this poor guy who's probably actually he's a professional athlete. He's probably was a very attractive guy, and I just joked around at his expense. Not that he would ever listen to this or anything like that. I felt bad about it. Oh man, I was mean about somebody on the internet. I was mean. So,
how dare you?
I know.
No, it is a hilarious story though, and I love it very much. And definitely go check out that episode. Anyway, so at this point, we've got Joe Montana. We have Steve Bono, who used to be Joe Montana's third string quarterback. Later on, we would go to snag Elvis Gerbach from the 49ers as well. We ended up also signing a guy or trading for a guy named Steve DeBerg or whatever. I don't know who he is, but he's also a quarterback from the 49ers who won us a few games. And also the quarterback before Pat Mahomes was Alex Smith, who was, again, a quarterback from the 49ers.
Yeah.
So a little bit wild, starting from that Joe Montana season back in 1993 or something like that. There was a 30-year window where we had those 5 different 49ers quarterbacks that I listed.
No, so was that all you had? Was that basically?
No.
I was gonna say
we had lots of different quarterbacks.
I was gonna say,
but there were a lot of mainstays from the 49ers franchise during that time, and during that time, we definitely drafted some quarterbacks. We had other quarterbacks on the team from other teams, etc. We won 149 games during that 30-year stretch from ex-49ers quarterbacks. Would you, Nicholas, just give me the pleasure of guessing how many games that we won with quarterbacks that we drafted to compare to that 149 that we got from 49ers quarterbacks?
I'm going to guess 3.
Zero, Nick. Zero. The best chance we had was good old Brody Croyle, who nobody outside the Kansas City Chiefs fandom will even know who that is. He did start 10 games for us.
Brody
and literally,
Croyle, dude.
Brody
Croyle's my guy.
He literally went 0 for 10 in the games that he started.
That's rough.
I want to talk to you, though, through all that crazy 49er-led Chiefs teams that we had. I want to talk about Steve Bono.
Okay.
So Steve Bono was the third string quarterback for Montana. He ended up coming to us as a second string quarterback that we stole over there from 49ers, and then Montana retired. And so Mr. Bono got to play in some games for us as a starting quarterback.
Okay.
In the first 9 years of his career, he never topped 50 rushing yards in a season at all.
In a season? I thought you said in a game, and I was like, that seems like a pretty rough game.
No. It never topped 50 yards in a season. So you're talking 3 yards per game as a quarterback. One of the least mobile quarterbacks of all time.
That's a big ouch. That's a
big ouch. One of the least athletic quarterbacks of all time. Not one to necessarily be considered a rushing threat. I want to read to you his first 10 rushes that he played as a starting quarterback for the Chiefs after Montana retired. Are you ready?
Okay.
Okay. His first rush was -1 yards. Second rush was -1 yards. Second rush was 2 yards, a quarterback sneak. Good job.
Woo!
Honestly,
So
most of these are quarterback sneaks unless I tell you otherwise.
But we're at net equal. We're at net nothing.
Yeah, we're back at 0. Next rush was -1 yards. Next rush was 0 yards. Next rush was 6 yards. Like a real outlier here.
Yeah.
It was on a 3rd down. He ended up rushing outside the pocket. It was a failed 3rd down conversion, so it didn't actually matter. Had to punt anyways. Next rush was -1 yards. Next rush was 3 yards. Again, a rollout that was a unsuccessful conversion on 3rd down. The next rush, number 9, was 0 yards. And then his 10th rush in October 1st, 1995 at 1:30 p.m. was 76 yards.
What?
This was an outlier.
He's like, I haven't done this since high school. This is sick.
I'm not even sure in high school. This was an outlier that would be unequaled basically forever, considering all the factors. It's very interesting, the 76-yard run, and that's what I want to talk about.
Okay.
This is a thing that I actually have had in my backlog of topics to talk about since I did the Elvis Gerbach episode. So this is like 20 or so weeks old. Of things
for real.
I went back in the backlogs of things I wanted to talk about. So here's some things. At that time, only one other quarterback had ever scored from 50 yards out in the entirety of the NFL history back then in 1995. From 50 yards out. Again, this is 76 yards. And that one was, I think it was like 66 yards. So it was 10 yards longer than any NFL quarterback. This is like a run for a touchdown in NFL history. It actually tied the record, the other one was not a touchdown. But Nick, we're talking about, like, if you look at the list of names of people that had the longest quarterback runs, you're looking at the who's who of mobile quarterbacks compared to this one guy who set the record for the longest touchdown by a quarterback by the person who was like one of the worst quarterbacks in a rushing perspective of all time. Nick,
just
here,
total outlier.
Just listen. Listen to this. So, the longest run as a percent of your career rushing yards for all quarterbacks of all time, all of them, every single one of them, is about their longest rush accounted for about 5% of their career rushing yards.
For him, it's going to be like 50 or 80 or something.
No, it's not that. It's not that. But,
oh man, that could have been really good, Jeff.
Well, legitimately, he's basically at 30%. Like that one rush was 30% of his 15 career seasons that he played in the NFL.
15.
One play was 30% of all of his rushing yards.
15's a lot of seasons.
The guy, so there was only one person who was more than 15%.
Who?
And he played.
It doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't matter. He played in 1940, more than 50 years before this happened. And honestly, at 1940, who cares about the stats? Like, that was the only person who was even half as close to a single rush being significant to his career rushing yards.
That's so dumb.
He had 7 rushing touchdowns in his entire career. The other 6 were 12 yards combined. They were basically all quarterback sneaks over the goal line. And yet, Nick, this dude, he had the longest run of all players in the 1992 season.
Dude, good for him. What a killer. Well, okay. So there's probably a takeaway that I have here in this. And that one, NBA, NFL athletes are probably more athletic than we give them credit for. You think of like the least athletic, the least mobile guy, he's probably still fit as hell and still like faster than the most of the average people.
I'm going to show you this video.
Yeah.
The like 290-pound offensive lineman in full pads over here, probably honestly more than that, probably like 340 or something like that. Easily outruns this guy on his trip to the end zone. So yes, I will. We'll talk about exactly how this happened, but yes, go continue your point. Yes, I do.
Just that he's still fit, right? Like he's still fit, and then, then secondly, like But that's like why it probably works is because like he's such a non-threat that like you don't scheme for it, right? Like the defense doesn't scheme for it, right? Am I crazy?
It's not. I mean, it's not a thing you would scheme for. One, because he is such a non-threat. But two, here we go. We're going to dive back into this.
Okay.
So there's two factors as to why this happened. This very well may never, like somebody like this scoring this long of a touchdown, they may very well never happen again, ever. It is such an interesting connection of all these different variables that it's pretty outstanding what happened here. So first off, I want to talk about Buddy Ryan. He was the coach of the Cardinals back when this happened. Okay. And there's lots of interesting things. Judging on time, I'm probably just going to say this. Buddy Ryan ran an extremely, extremely aggressive defensive scheme when he played. He was more than happy if he thought that he was right to completely sell out on what was happening. That was kind of his mentality. So a very, very aggressive defensive scheme.
Okay.
Nick, in addition to stealing all of the quarterback talent from, like the leftover quarterback talent from the 49ers, we had also snagged future Hall of Famer Marcus Allen from the Raiders for our running back. Marcus Allen was like, I remember when I was a young kid seeing Marcus Allen, he was the guy, like he was a short yardage amazing savant. Like he's just so good. And like I remember all these times of him jumping over the goal line over everybody. It was super good at short yard situations.
Right.
At the time that this had happened, okay, I guess let me even bring this a little bit more home. So in the modern NFL, it is extremely rare that you have a formation with no wide receivers. You almost always have that threat just to keep people home. Okay. We were in a 3-back set. One of our running backs was in motion, he was not going, like the situation basically was he was not going to be eligible to receive the handoff. Okay. The other person who would have been eligible to receive the handoff he's our fullback, Tony Richardson, who ended up being one of the best run blocking fullbacks of all time. Actually, you know what? Let me explain Marcus Allen first. So at the time that Marcus Allen was at this play, he had 2,531 carries and was a short yardage specialist. We're 3rd and 1, middle of the game, on our side of the field. Like everybody thinks he's going to get the ball. Tony Richardson, great fullback, but definitely a blocking specialist. At the point of this play, he had gotten one rushing carry his entire career to this point. So probably going to, like, if you're going to be an aggressive defensive minded coach, the guy with 2,531 carries is probably going to get the ball more often than the guy who's gotten one carry his entire career.
Yeah.
And the other guy who's ineligible to get the ball in the first place. So the entire defense sells on this fake. What it was, though, was Bono faking the handoff to Marcus Allen on a naked bootleg with his, I think it was the tackle, maybe right tackle or something like that. And literally, Nick, there was not a human being in sight on this entire play. And it was like, they were so bought in. Like, because again, a super aggressive coach.
Are you sure?
Like one of the best short yardage running backs of all time. One of the, if not the worst rushing quarterback of all time. The combination of things. And Nick, I'm going to, while I'm pulling this, any thoughts as to what you expect this to look like or anything at all?
I expect it to be like almost like a handoff fake or something where he's gonna or not even necessarily that, but just I don't know. I'm assuming it's gonna be the Red Sea parting for him. You know what I mean?
Okay. And obviously this is a podcast, so it's not a super great thing to have the visual element. But I feel like Nick can give us a good play-by-play. Ignore the very first part of this, but. It's a
handoff fake.
There's nobody
on this side of the freaking.
And his tackle's like waving him on. Like, come on, let's go.
Chiefs go to the run. It's a reverse by Steve Bono, who's running away from the entire field. Nobody saw. This is unbelievable. Holy. A most remarkable development as Steve Bono play fake. The entire Cardinal team bought it. Everybody in the stadium did, including the announcers. And off to the races for a touchdown was Steve Bono.
This is fantastic. Nobody's even on his side of the field. No one else is on camera.
There's actually maybe even a better angle, just how ridiculous. But, I mean, you get the idea. Maybe I'll show that
I see it on the replay that, like, literally by the time he's over there, it's just like nobody's even... Yeah, this is too good. That is too good.
There was a guy... one of the guys who I watched this video from, who actually provided a lot of these facts, he did an analysis of the all of the videos of long runs for like the last 50 years, and what his metric was how long of a run was it from the time that you saw the last defender in the frame. And this is such an outlier. Like, there are so many long runs in NFL history. This is like 30% more or something ridiculous like that.
That's ridiculous.
Like, literally from there, like from the original camera angle, he's like 7 yards deep, and like you could already tell, like, this is 100% a touchdown.
Yeah.
And by the time he breaks the line of scrimmage, you don't see another defender. The only person that you see is Marcus Allen, the running back that faked it, like dive into the frame, like just in hilarious disbelief at what's happening.
Like, I saw.
Yeah, there's just nobody else in, like, the whole thing is absolutely ridiculous. But
that is a big win, in my opinion. That's really good.
Just my fun story of Steve Bono and just all the craziness that we have with the connections to 49ers quarterbacks as a Chiefs fan. I enjoyed a lot. But this one to me is a particularly ridiculous thing that happened and a huge weird outlier in NFL history. And I thought it was really fun.
No, it is. It is.
Oh,
hey, Jeff,
man.
Jeff,
yes,
before
sir.
we wrap it up, I want to let you know that I'm glad that we had enough time. We did enough time that we don't have this other topic, because, and I don't know if this is like something that you'll keep in or anything, but I just wanted to tell you it. As I started reading this topic, I was like, oh, I can make a topic out of it. And then as I started reading more, I was like, I might be able to do a big long topic on this. So you may have a really, really long, really, really in-depth Nick topic for next week, because I am really excited to tell you about this other topic.
We skipped your second topic.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I'm
good.
so sorry.
Good. No,
so
it's a win. I didn't mean it like I thought that you skipped it deliberately for time. I'm sorry. I wasn't calling you out.
Oh my gosh.
I am so psyched.
No, I'm so glad. We'll make the show notes. We gotta put that in there.
I haven't had like a good like researchy style topic that I've been excited about until like I realized it literally as we were getting ready today. I was like, oh, I could do like a really long topic. Yeah. I'm gonna do a really long, annoying one. So yeah, I hope you're excited. I hope everybody's excited.
We did miss watching 30 minutes of the Bucks game to have you research a topic that we didn't use, though. That's fine.
Don't worry about
it. Don't worry about it. All right, Nick, we should probably call it a day. Speaking of the Bucks game, we're going to go record our Patreon-only podcast. A year we start another podcast where we talk about whatever's on our minds, which is recently NBA-related. Although, I'll say, Nick, unless the Bucks-Suns series goes to 7 games, I mean, this is going to be the last one until it's over. I mean, because the Game 6 is on Tuesday, which we record on Wednesdays, so... unless it goes to 7, this will be the last one where we don't know what happens. But yeah, so check that out. Patreon.com/TyWasap. Again, thank you to all of our Patreons for supporting our show.
Yeah, you can also follow us on TyWasap or at TyWasap on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. You can find all of that at TyWasap.com.
All right, Nick, thank you for potting with me.
You're welcome. This has been the year we started the podcast. Thank you for listening.